Okay, we're going to do this quickly so I don't get banged with copyright, but let's hear what Rich has to say about our positioning in the AFC West. We love Rich Eisen, but this year he has us finishing 4th. Let's hear what he has to say.
Third if you're a wild card team going on a run.
Sure.
And I think your Raiders will be toying with the idea of making the playoffs at some point this season.
This season. Thank you.
Of course. Dude, you know how I feel about Pete here. You know how I feel about Pete.
Need to see it. They've got a lot to prove.
Need
they
to
got
see it.
a lot of proven guys. Offensive line's a little shaky.
Right. And the line we came up with the other day. Ashton Genty. He's going to be terrific, but he's going from Boise to men.
That's actually pretty good. I haven't heard that. That was actually pretty good. Okay, so we need to establish a baseline here, and then we'll get to Nick Wright, who's all in on the Raiders, and he's a Chiefs fan, by the way. We need to establish a baseline of why people are predicting us to finish upper echelon of the division or below on the bottom of the division. And the baseline seems to be this. Now, I couldn't play the whole clip again for copyright purposes. I don't even know if I can play that much, so we'll see what happens. Cross your fingers. The baseline is this. How good do you think the Chargers, sorry, there's a piece of fuzz, or the Broncos are? If they are both as good as they were last year or better, we could be in trouble, even if we are vastly improved. And I think we are vastly improved. It's just a tough division. It is what it is. We still could split the games, and I think that's what we're going to have to do to have a shot at the playoffs, is go 3-3. Any which way you slice it. 3-3 in the division, you have a chance. But if they're, both taking a step forward, and the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, presumably, and there's no injuries, right? We don't want any injuries. I don't care who it is. We could be in trouble. I do think, offensively, we stack up better than the Chargers or the Broncos. That hinges on Geno Smith being as good, if not better, than he was in Seattle. And I do think he's going to be better than he was in Seattle because as not great as our offensive line is here, it is 100 times better than the chaos he was working with last season in Seattle. Just ask Mina Kimes. She will tell you that offensive line in Seattle was a train wreck, and he was making up for a lot of the deficiencies of that team offensively. If you have the Raiders finishing really well, and you're predicting things like an Ashton Genty Rookie of the Year and a Max Crosby Defensive Player of the Year, as a Chiefs fan, and predicting us to finish second in the AFC West, you think that the Denver Broncos, probably in particular, are fool's gold. Because last year, they only beat 2 starting quarterbacks that are starting caliber quarterbacks in the league this year, 2025. They beat Aaron Rodgers, and they beat, I believe, Baker Mayfield. Other than that, every game they lost to, including our 2 games, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, were against very bad quarterbacks. And they went 0-7, I believe. Is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they lost 7 games. They went 0-7 against playoff teams or the Cincinnati Bengals. They also won a game in which they got into the playoffs last year where they beat the Kansas City Chiefs backups. This is the Denver Broncos that we're talking about. And the year before that, they were, 8-9? So, they went from terrible quarterback and Jared Stidham and Russell Wilson to Bo Nix, who was awesome, and they improved by a game. But 2 games because they beat the Chiefs' backups. It would have been 1 game if the Chiefs played all their starters. Now, they probably should have beat the Chiefs twice, but we should have beat the Chiefs at least once as well. What I want to talk about is the key to the whole season is how well we stack up interdivision-wise. And I also want to let you guys know this. This is the most parity I've ever seen with the national media projecting us to finish down here or all the way up here, which means that I have no clue what we're going to see on that field September 7th. That doesn't mean that I use the national media to then allow myself to make predictions. I use my eyeballs and I use my expertise as a Raider fan, right? I know a lot about a little. These guys know a little about a lot. But with all that said, especially with the Patriots game, this has been the hardest for me to try to predict because on paper, we've gotten significantly better. But our defense is problematic. We have a lot of young guys that we're relying on. Our division in theory, should be the hardest in football, and I've been hurt before. We've all been hurt before, believing that Josh McDaniels comes in here and trades for Devontae Adams, and we're going to the Super Bowl. How can we not have at least 11 wins because we went 10 wins last year with no Henry Ruggs and an interim? And then you win 6 games, and Jimmy Garoppolo becomes your quarterback. We've been hurt before. And it's okay to feel excitement, but you have to understand that this season could be a competitive shit show, for lack of better terms. There could be a lot of big plays and a lot of mistakes. We could look a little Cincinnati Bengals-esque or a little Phillip Rivers Chargers where they won 10 games, but they missed a lot at the buzzer. And, in 2022, we lost 11 games. 9 of those were won by 1 possession. There could be a lot of that this year, and I just want to prepare people for what's going to happen. So before we get into the deep dive as to why I feel this way, I need to tell you about the sponsor for this video, DraftKings Sportsbook. With the NFL season right around the corner, there's no time like the present to get involved in the betting scene, and now you can with our new channel partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet $5 and get $300 instantly in bonus bets, and all you have to do is download the DraftKings app and sign up using the promo code ALLaBorde. Whether it's the thrill of betting on games live as they happen or building the perfect parlay for an even bigger payout, DraftKings has you covered. And do not worry, if sports betting isn't yet legal in your state, you can still get in on all the action with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. From football to basketball to hockey to lacrosse to golf, the variety of bets you can make on DraftKings cannot be beat. From popular stats to game lines, touchdown scores, game props, team props, and much, much more. The next great touchdown is coming, and you can bet on it. Download the DraftKings app, sign up, and use the promo code ALLABORDE. Shout out to DK. It would help the channel out tremendously if you use the promo code, and we got more to come here. Also, shout out to my $5 and $10 patrons. Hit that like button, comment away. The video's not over, don't worry. But I will say, if you want to have a chance to win that $100, join the YouTube membership program. It is very cheap. Then you can cancel after 1 month. You have until we kick off week 1. Let's look a little bit at the AFC West betting preview, because I do think this is important to see how people feel about the Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos, because the Chiefs, again, we're just assuming the Chiefs are in there, and I think that's a fair assumption to have until proven otherwise. So let's see what people are talking about. I'm just going to skim here. The Las Vegas Raiders remain a long shot in the division and are plus 340 to make the playoffs. That's not the worst odds I've ever seen, but there's excitement about Brock Bowers and Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite Ashton Jeanty. So let's see some of the best bets. Right here, Eric Moody has over for the Raiders winning over 6.5 games at minus 140. The Raiders could surprise bettors in 2025. Geno Smith brings stability and efficiency at the quarterback position and ranks among the league's best deep ball passers over the past 3 seasons. Coming off a record-breaking college year, Jeanty adds a dynamic ground game to the offense, giving the Raiders much-needed balance. Paired with Bowers, who set rookie records, head coach Pete Carroll's energy, and defensive end Max Crosby make the Raiders frisky enough to clear expectations. Is there anybody else mentioning the Raiders? The Raiders have not won a division title since 2002 and have a 23% chance to make the playoffs, according to ESPN Analytics, which ranks 27th in the NFL. So you have to understand something. When they're running analytics, there's no opinions in that. So I just feel like sometimes I have to play the realist. It is more likely than not that we do not make the playoffs in 2025. We're probably a year away. We probably need Brock year 3, Ashton year 2, Dante year 2, Geno year 2, and the Chip Kelly defense to really make a Baker Mayfield Tampa Bay Bucks run at this thing. I'm not saying it's not impossible, and obviously this all hinges on Jacoby Myers being on the roster. If he's not on the roster, we need Dante to become Randy Moss like yesterday, and that's probably not going to happen either. I just want people to be prepared for the most likely outcome. The most likely outcome is 7 to 9 wins, maybe 9 get you in, who knows, and being damn sure that that team is competitive and playing as hard as they can for every single game. The Antonio Pierce Raiders were in the playoff mix. They were 2 games out of first place in the division with 2 games to go. It obviously didn't fall the way we wanted to, but there's going to be times late in the season, in late November and early December where we look at the standings and go, there are the Raiders in the wild card mix, or there are the Raiders in the hunt, or sniffing it, as Rich Eisen would like to say. And it's going to come down to what Pete Carroll said about our young players. By the time weeks 7, 8, 9, 10 roll around, have we instilled them, Darian Porter and Tyree Wilson and Dante Thorne and Ashton Genty, have we instilled them with the confidence to be able to push us into the playoff picture with the ability to rely on the young guys? Because if we don't have a couple people take significant steps forward, we are going to be a competitive team that just falls short and is picking somewhere in the middle of the draft. And that's okay. I believe in John Spiketick's ability to draft players. I believe this draft class has been unbelievable so far. All that to say, again, contingent on Jacoby Myers signing, I totally understand having the Raiders finishing anywhere from 2nd to 4th in the AFC West. I totally understand have people having us pick in the top 10 or having us pick 20th. It has a few factors that are out of our control. Strength of schedule, good on paper. We have no idea how some of these teams are going to be. Maybe the Bears are awesome, right? Maybe the Browns are awesome. Unlikely, but maybe. Maybe the Colts are awesome. Who knows? Maybe the Chiefs are not that great. Maybe they have that 1 year where Patrick Mahomes doesn't make the playoffs. Again, unlikely. Another thing we can't control is the improvement of the Broncos or the Chargers. Have they gotten better, or are they fool's gold? Only time will tell. The things we can't control is getting another player like Jabril Peppers, is developing our young talent, is out-coaching the other team, not turning the ball over, and getting Jacoby Myers on the goddamn field. If we can solve those problems, we could shock a lot of people, except for Nick Wright. If it goes the way of the most likely outcome, be prepared for 8 to 9 wins to 7 wins. Just throwing that out there. So after week 1, when we lose the game 28-27 on a walk-off field goal, we don't come on here and go, Pete Carroll's washed, Geno Smith is terrible, Ashton Genty's a bust. Half the teams lose week 1, and some of those teams that lose week 1 are teams that are supposed to have won. And by the way, we're not the betting favorite. It's a close line, but we're not the betting favorite. Not trying to be all doom and gloom, just being realistic. What say you? Am I crazy? Am I making sense? I have to burp. Hit that like button. Comment away. Download DraftKings. Use the promo code. And please be sure to subscribe. It's free out to no charge to you. We are 1 week away. I love you guys. And I'll see you next time.